Hello everyone, Lakey here, and today I'm going to be talking about the SA80 family of rifles in Phantom Forces, which is home to the L22, L85A2, and the L86 LSW. These British bullpup rifles are available in the carbine, assault rifle, and LMG classes respectively, and maybe don't get as much attention as other rifles in the game, but they do have their merits. I'm going to go over the pros and cons of them, as well as where you can use them best. This video was requested by a channel member. If you would like to request a video, you can do so by clicking the big blue join button. So I'll start first with the L22, a carbine which I don't often see get very much attention at all, both in the amount of people talking about it and the amount of people using it in the game. It's definitely one that, despite the low rank unlock for it, I don't see very often. Compared to the other carbines, the L22 does not hit very hardly, with base damage values of 30 to 21 over a damage range of 40 to 90 studs, which is also not that impressive, especially being that the final damage range value is one of the worst in class. Where the L22 may fall short in the way of damage, it makes up for it in other areas like its fire rate and stability. It has the best in class hipfire stability, and it is definitely noticeable. It also has not too bad of accuracy for the sights as well, generally just a weapon that is not too unstable. Its fire rate sits comfortably above the average at a value of 775 RPM. It's not the best fire rate compared to others in the category, as 950 is the spot to beat, but it is a decent fire rate nevertheless. Aside from that, the L22 also unfortunately falls short in the penetration depth, meaning that an ammo type like armor piercing is a necessary addition if you want to shoot through more walls. It boosts it to a value of 0.7 studs from a base value of 0.5. This also, however, cuts its already below average damage range to dropping off from the maximum damage starting at 20 studs, which is quite short of a distance to drop off from. In other areas, the L22 is just simply along the average and does not stand out or disappoint really. Overall, the L22's statistical properties do not shine it in the best of light, but using this in a close to medium range especially, taking advantage of the good hipfire this gun has will suit it well. And that makes sense for a carbine. They're generally not as strong as assault rifles, but are speedier, and so that is where the L22 really shows this. After that, the L86 LSW is the LMG counterpart for the SA80 family. While it may be overshadowed by other LMGs, the L86 is still pretty decent, boasting best-in-class muzzle velocity and a great base sight accuracy. You may also know it for the sound that it makes when you're being shot at by it. The L86 though is made worse by having just a 30 round mag size, which for any other class would basically be the norm, but for the LMG's category, the ammo capacities can reach up to as many as 100 rounds, but at the very least, it is typically higher than the standard 30 rounds, which is what the L86 LSW has. And this definitely stands out to me. You don't have the same level of spraying and praying ability or just ability to suppress the enemy when you've only got 30 rounds before you need to reload. Other than that, the L86 LSW typically can be found sitting around the average as well as far as the statistics go. It's not really poor in many areas aside from its worst in class mag size, worst in class time to kill, and below average fire rate. Its reload times, penetration depth, suppression, accuracy, and walk speeds are all pretty decent for the class though, but nothing really just peaks above and peaks ahead aside from the muzzle velocity and sight accuracy. As this is an LMG, the L86 can best be used around a medium to long range setting, really taking advantage of the strong damage range values that are typical for the LMG's class. Being that the L86 is also generally more stable than other options, that will benefit you especially in taking on more ranged fights. Users should also be looking to take advantage of the 2.5 studs of penetration depth and decent suppression that the gun has as well. You also need to be mindful though of the mag size like I mentioned earlier. Unlike other LMGs, you cannot spray and pray to the same degree, and despite having the smallest mag size, it does not have the quickest of reload times for the category, and if you're not careful, you could get caught out while reloading. This is definitely a solid rifle, but it does fall short in some areas. To wrap up these British rifles, we've got the L85A2, which is an assault rifle. Just like its family members in other categories, this rifle is not the most impressive, usually finding itself close to the averages for the statistical categories. It doesn't really stand out much at all, at least in a positive way. The rifle has some worst-in-class base max damage, followed by poor damage range values and a time to kill that is not quick relative to other options in the category. The gun itself is just a rather average assault rifle, and that's alright. It doesn't necessarily need to shine in the same way that the M16A3 does or something like that. It's just a very middle-of-the-pack assault rifle, and it still gets the job done. It's not bad, it's not good, it's just kind of average, and that's just the purpose that this gun serves. It's not really impressing in any areas, it's not the top of the class in other areas, and so it just kind of exists, I guess. But not in a bad way. As this is an assault rifle, there's a good level of versatility that can be extracted from the gun while using it. From close to medium range and even a bit further than that, the gun can be utilized well. That's the great thing about assault rifles, is that you're not necessarily limited to one way of playing in combat aside from the furthest of ranges, so even though this is a more average rifle, you can still excel with it. So that sums up an overview for the SA80 family and the pros and cons of each individual rifle. As always, I'm curious to get your thoughts on this as well. What do you think of this family of rifles? Is it your favorite family in the game, or is there another family that just takes that top spot for you? Which of these rifles is your favorite to use? Be sure to let me know in the comments. That's all I've got for you today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.